Alright guys, welcome back. We are in season 2 here of the Seattle Mariners franchise, episode 29. So we are deep in this thing. I'm really just going to go over some of the signings. I don't really need to introduce the team again. It's really the same exact team. We signed Chapman and free agency, really just to bolster that bullpen. Our bullpen kind of struggled last year. There were some guys who had some pretty good stats, but there was a couple games, actually a lot of games, that the bullpen kind of blew for us. So I'm really looking to hopefully get that bullpen turned around here and have a really solid bullpen this year. We also signed Giovanni Soto. He's going to handle hitting against left-handers this year against us, while Zunino still is hitting against right-handers. Hopefully, Zunino will take another year or so to actually get over that hump. As you see, he's never batted over 200 in his career, besides his first 52 games as a big leaguer in 2013. We're going to have a pretty good position battle here at first base between Juan Francisco and Dan Vogelbach. Vogelbach's kind of the first baseman of the future for us. However, Francisco did a really nice job last year coming in late in the season, batting .286. He had some great power numbers in 26 games. And Vogelbach did very well for himself, too, as a young first baseman in 31 games with 100 plate appearances. So that'll be a nice position battle in spring training there. At second base, really the story is just Robinson Cano coming off the worst season of his career. So really hoping to have him have a better year this year. He didn't even play over 100 games. First time in his career he didn't get over 100 hits. First time in his career he hit under 270. Just an absolutely awful year. As far as these two guys go, they will be in AAA. They're going to start off on the big league hump in spring training, but they're going to be down to AAA depending on how their spring goes. But I'm really assuming that they're just going to stay in AAA. Here at the shortstop position, we did sign Marwin Gonzalez. He's really just going to be a platoon player for us, plays all the infield positions, hits against lefties real well, has a nice solid career batting average there. Past couple years he's really turned it around with more at-bats. So that's going to be really our fifth infielder right there. O'Malley, platoon player, coming off a pretty solid year himself. Still hasn't hit that 500 at-bats range yet. Gurriel, I don't know about him yet. He might start out the season in AAA, just depending on how he does. Drew Jackson, I'm actually going to call him up, give him some big league at-bats in spring training here. He will be the AA starter at shortstop after a pretty nice AA season last year. As far as left field goes, Aoki, we still have him out there. He's kind of coming off a down year, but all his ratings actually went up, so we're still going to hold on to him. He didn't have a terrible season, but compared to his normal standards, it was kind of a down year. So hopefully we get him turned around. In center, Leonis Martin coming off his career best season, hitting 277, 341 on base, 430 slugging with 167 hits, almost 50 stolen bases. So hopefully he can improve upon that already great year. And it looks like he's actually broken in here with the Mariners. Hopefully we can get him to continue that great year this year. Nelson Cruz coming off the best year of his career too, as far as RBIs and home runs go. At 36 years old, hopefully he can have another great season and knock in a lot of runs. Kyle Lewis here is our top prospect in the system. He actually had a great time in 125 at-bats for us last year. Great power numbers, his on-base and slugging numbers. I wish his slugging's fine. I wish his on-base was a little bit higher than that, but for a 22-year-old kid with only really 125 career at-bats, that's pretty solid. Those are pretty solid numbers. He's going to get some significant time here in spring training, and we'll evaluate him after spring training. Other than that, that's really it as far as our roster goes. Starting rotation is really going to be the same. All these guys, Hernandez, Walker, Paxton, and then Carnes. Carnes is really looking to have a great year here. He actually had a very solid last year, or 2016 season. His first really break-in year, longest season with 170 innings pitched, basically 59 walks, 183 strikeouts. Great ERA and WHIP numbers. WHIP was a little high, but that's okay. His fielding and independent pitching, though, was pretty solid. As you see, his home run numbers were fantastic as well. Paxton, hoping to get these numbers down. They were a little bit higher than I thought they would be. His walk numbers especially, almost 85 walks in 106 innings 186 innings pitched, and hopefully the strikeouts can get bumped up as well. Other than that, King Felix, great year. 293 ERA, 12-12, 42 walks, 213 strikeouts, 110 whip. Fielding and independent pitching numbers were great too, 324. Walker coming off a fantastic year. He probably had, honestly, one of the better years for us on the mound. His numbers don't really show that, but he is a great young pitcher. I actually like him better than I do Walker. So we'll see. These two guys are going to be the pitchers of the Mariners' future right here, as long as, you know, King Felix has maybe 7 years left. So hopefully, you know, these guys will kind of take over after Hernandez leaves way down the line. He had some great numbers as well too. I think his 347 fielding, independent pitching. Other than that, I'm really hoping our bullpen here can kind of get it straightened away. We had a pretty rough season last year, kind of blew a lot of games. So really hoping to, you know, have these guys get it turned around in the bullpen. Other than that, our lineup is really going to look the same. Obviously, Cano is going to be plugged back in here. I'm going to kind of toy with it before we get started with spring training and give some guys some at-bats here, and really kind of evaluate some guys. I'm going to kind of do spring training different this year, as I'm looking for a shortstop here, or not shortstop, a second baseman. I'm going to go ahead and find it later, and I'll show you guys the lineup before I get spring training started. Really going to evaluate some guys. This first like week and a half up until here, I'm going to play some prospects. Honestly, I might even play up until the 15th, just straight prospects, and see how everyone does, and then kind of evaluate some people, you know, going from there. So Kyle Lewis will see some playing time. Freeman, Fernandez will see a lot of playing time. Zach Lee will get some innings. Other than that, Drew Jackson will get some time too. And then after the 15th here, that will really be, you know, most of our starters are plugged back in, so they can get, you know, their reps in. So I'm going to go ahead and set the lineups and everything and show you guys the lineups so you see what I'm doing here as far as giving all my prospects some looks in spring training here. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and sim until the 9th here. I did make some changes to the lineup. I'll show you guys the lineup though with all the stats that I'm going to be looking at. So we are there, 2-5. It's really only spring training, so I'm not too worried. Gurriel off to a really hot start, 353. He will stay up for now. Drew Jackson will go back down to Double-A to be the starting shortstop down there. Kyle Lewis, decent stats, 21 at-bats. Zunino hitting over 200. Cano, 235. Vogelbach, 220. Go ahead and swap him and Francisco right here to give Francisco some at-bats now. Go ahead and check everyone else out. Cruz, 250, 16 at-bats. Seager, 158, 19 at-bats. Obviously, Gurriel, I've already talked about him, and Martin there. So I'm going to go ahead. Aoki, 231 and 13 at-bats. 12 at-bats from Gonzalez, 333. Marte, 8 at-bats, 625. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some people down to their Double-A and Triple-A spots, and I'll come right back. Okay guys, I'm really just going to sim another week and then take another peek at everyone's stats. We're sitting 6 and 8 now. Martin down to 205, Gurriel cooled off to 282, Seager up to 297, Cruz 250, Francisco 250, Cano 265, Zunino 257, Kyle Lewis 233, Marte 286, O'Malley 211, Soto's slumping in 12 at-bats, .083, Vogelbach up to 286, Marlon Gonzalez 25 at-bats, 280, Aoki 296, Fernandez 610 at-bats, Bam 375 and 8 at-bats. On the mound, starting rotation's looking really nice, really just besides Carnes there with only 4 innings. However, as far as that, I'm going to drop down Casey Jansen there. He was just kind of like, I just wanted to see how he did. I signed him last year. He's going to go down to AAA. Diaz really struggled in spring training again, so I'm going to send him down to AAA to be the closer down there for a little bit. So other than that, guys, I'm really just going to sim again another week to right here, and then I'm really just going to make the 25-man roster. Actually, I'm going to sim the full week. So now I'm just going to but even out all the rosters, make everything 25-man at every single, like on the major league level, AAA level, and AA level. So I'll be right back, guys. Okay guys, so really this is the lineup as far as our big league roster goes Martin, Aoki, Seager, Cruz, Cano, Vogelbach, Zanino, Tommy Pham, and then Ketel Marte, with O'Malley on the bench, Soto on the bench, Marwin Gonzalez on the bench, and Jose Miguel Fernandez on the bench. And then obviously we have Tommy Pham in the outfield on the bench as well with no DH. Sean O'Malley, though, can play the outfield as well. I think Fernandez can probably squeak out there too. In our rotation, Hernandez, Walker, Waka, Paxton, and then Carnes. And in the bullpen, Strickland, Gilmartin, Cishek, Knievel, Vincent, Furbush, and then Chapman as our closer. So that's really it for our big league roster. I'm going to go ahead and finish out spring training here and get ready to go for our season opener. So let's go ahead and sim through spring training here. We will end spring training at 16-13, third in the AL West. Notifications: Robles had a strong month of March. He is in AAA, and Gurriel is in AAA. Had an outstanding month of March, batting .283. Both those guys will vie for spots. There'll probably be call-ups here and there, just to see how things go, give guys a break if they're struggling, stuff like that. Other than that, we did pretty well. So go ahead and end spring training here and get into the regular season. Opening day at home, taking on Oakland. This will be the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the little introduction into season 2 here, and let's get on the road and start this game. King Felix taking on Jesse Hahn.